Oregon is a player for any big name that hits the transfer portal. A name goes in, expect to hear Oregon's involvement, and there's been a big name visitor that is currently, I was going to say coming in, but he tweeted that he's already there. Number 1 wide receiver transfer, Evan Stewart, is on campus in Eugene, and I got Justin Hopkins from ScoopDuck to break it down in this video. But before we do that, Oregon fans, hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We're growing this page. We talk recruiting. We talk transfer portal 365 days out of the year. We want you to be a part of it. Hit subscribe for me, please. All right. Bring in Justin Hopkins from ScoopDuck, and we know Oregon's been busy in the portal, but there's also been some attrition as well. So far to this point, who's been the biggest portal loss to the Oregon Ducks?
Yeah, a number of ways I could answer that. I think the one that surprised fans the most was Cole Martin, defensive back. His dad is actually the cornerbacks coach at Oregon, so right. I think that surprised folks. Of course, those two are making independent decisions, and there could be a number of reasons why he left. But I would say Cole Martin caught people off guard the most. I think the biggest loss from the ability to impact the field next year would be Triquez Bridges, obviously committed to Florida after leaving Oregon. Had played some this year. I think he would have been able to compete for a starting job. So that's probably the biggest loss if we're talking about playing time and the ability to impact the team.
All right, and then we know they're still making some additions, but to this point, who's been the most important addition so far to this Oregon roster?
Has to be Dillon Gabriel, and I know that that's the easy answer, but it's the obvious answer. It's the right one, and I say that, and we're going to talk about it in a minute, but you don't lure guys to visit you or consider you like Evan Stewart without a Dillon Gabriel. Suddenly that raises your profile. The Ducks obviously were able to convince Tez Johnson and Trayshawn Holden to return for another season at wide receiver. So, you talk about a guy that, about the midway through the year was still in the Heisman running at Oklahoma. If that's your starting quarterback, you're probably in pretty good shape. So it has to be Dillon Gabriel. I think the one that made the most headlines, though, was Dante Moore, because that's pretty surreal to think Oregon was able to get Dillon Gabriel and Dante Moore in one cycle.
I still can't believe Dante Moore's a Duck. Again, like it still hasn't really sunk in for me yet. But let's talk about the former 5-star wide receiver that's currently on campus. That's Evan Stewart. He's leaving Texas A&M after a very productive time at Texas A&M. No, what are you currently hearing about the Ducks' chances?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Junior Adams, obviously he's a really good recruiter at his position at wide receiver. I think, again, I just mentioned it, but Dillon Gabriel coming to be your quarterback next year, that's going to be a very big sell to a guy like Evan Stewart, because we know Gabriel has a really big arm and the ability to push the ball downfield. If you're a guy like Stewart, that's definitely catering to what you want to do. And to boot, the Ducks had a very productive offense. They had several receivers that went over 1,000 yards last year. And again, if you're a guy that that wants to come in and catch some balls, you at least will know that Oregon's going to spread the ball around and that multiple guys will touch it. I think the Ducks were in this early. You and I both know that as far as the transfer portal goes, if you're one of those first couple visits, you're more than likely in fairly good shape there. The Ducks are the first visit here, so you've got to think that the Ducks are a very serious player for Stewart.
What are you hearing in terms of competition, though? What teams are involved?
Yeah, I think you're looking at USC right now. I think they're probably the biggest threat to Oregon. I know Pete Nakos reported this, but it sounds like Tennessee is no longer a real player here. Stewart's kept a pretty quiet profile. This visit caught a lot of people off guard. So for me, at least on this side, I think Oregon is probably most concerned with USC, but it doesn't mean that other teams aren't involved with him.
All right, Duck fans, let me know. What do you think? Comment section below. Can Oregon shut it down this weekend? Will Evan Stewart be a Duck? Let me know. Justin Hopkins from ScoopDuck, thanks a lot for stopping by the Inside Scoop. I know it's going to be a busy weekend for you.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content, be sure to subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We have a new page dedicated only to recruiting. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now.